Something bothering you, Cap?
I don't know. I've just got a bad feeling about all of this. What the hell is
that? Listen up, everybody. I have some news. All I can do right now is put on a brave face and go out there and be their leader. It's over. We are screwed.
Alright, so I just came from watching Gundam, Requiem for Vengeance. Yes, it's on Netflix right now, released October 17th, 2024. I have never watched anything to do with Gundam. Never seen anything to do with Gundam before. So anything I say in this review is from the perspective of the fact that I've never watched anything or never played anything, whether it is a comic, book, game, that entire franchise. This is my very first time encountering. I have heard of Gundam before. When I went into the show, I was expecting giant robot things, but other than that, nothing else. I don't know any of the lore, so for anyone who clicked on this review, just know that I'm reviewing this from the perspective of a newbie who is not familiar with the lore or the backstory of Gundam. Story, for those of you who are new just like me, the story is taking place during the late stages of the 1-year war. It follows Iria Sorari, a principality of Zeon pilot under the Red Wolves division, who is tasked with defending the European front against the Earth Federation forces' efforts on reclaiming the area. So the simple version of that, for those of you who are not Gundam guys, is that they are these space rangers. They come down from space. One of them said that they are doing it for a paycheck, but another one said that they are doing it to liberate themselves and for independence from the EFF, the Earth Federation guys. They have these huge robots called Zakus, so they get inside them and they fight. That's basically the simple version for the guys who are not familiar with the Gundam story like me. Well, when I clicked on this, at first I thought it was going to be like real people, real environments. But wow, the environments looked quite real. It took me a second to notice that the whole thing is like animations, like CGI, like PS5 type graphics that we are dealing with over here. The environment looked so real, but the people, once it cuts to the people, obviously you realize, oh, it's not real people. So that was a very huge surprise. The whole show looks like one very long PS5 cutscene. It gave me Pacific Rim vibes. Remember, this is my first time interacting with anything Gundam, so it gave me Pacific Rim vibes. The opening of the series has so much testosterone. It has so much testosterone. The first episode, like the first 20 minutes, you're in the heat of battle. It is so intense with so much machismo in it. Wow. So you can imagine my shock when I see the story following this character called Sorari, who is a woman, and I was like, how is this super manly unit of, they call themselves wolves, how is this unit following a chick? I don't know. I'm not saying that women can't be captains. I'm just surprised that this hyper masculine war and unit, the Red Wolves, was being led by a lady. I was just surprised by it. Sorari has this like weird lesbian haircut. I'm just telling you my honest thoughts. Yeah, so I was like, she has this weird lesbian haircut. I was thinking to myself, it's even a surprise that she's married. Sorari is married. You hear them mentioning her husband. This is going to be a non-spoiler review. I'm going to keep the details vague in case you want to go watch this for yourself. But yeah, apparently Sorari is married, so even though she has a lesbian haircut, she's not a lesbian. And there was this other soldier who looked like pure feminist vibes, with her nose ring and her multiple tattoos and her colored hair. But it's fine. They look like a feminist and a lesbian, but they don't act that way. They don't act that way. The male characters are portrayed as sometimes weak and hyper emotional. This is Netflix, obviously, so sometimes you view things in like you tend to have like a sensitivity towards the wokeness of what they're trying to push in the show. I'm not saying it's woke. The only way to notice if something is woke is if you know what the original source material is, to know whether they are woking it up, as people like to call it. But I noticed the men in this show, they are viewed as slightly, I don't know, emotionally weaker or hyper emotional sometimes. Especially there's this one doctor character who's quite soft. I don't know why he's soft, and yet he's supposed to be like this doctor who helps people on the battlefield. There was this other one dude called Major Ronette, something like that. Ronay, something like that. He was like the guy at this outpost that is just full of garbage that is being recycled. And he was such a weak bitch. He constantly keeps being like, stop attracting attention to this outpost. We're trying to hide and keep it safe. Meanwhile, the main character, Lady Sorari, she's like, no, we need to fight. So you see, it's kind of like you'd expect the man to be the one who's like, we should fight, and the woman to be more, on the defensive, but it's the other way around. Anyway, I don't know the original source material. I'm just telling you what my thoughts are when I was watching. Regardless, I liked the characters. I liked them. Especially Sorari and another character called Leshan. He was also a bit hyper emotional, but I liked them. The human animation looks odd in some places. The Zaku and the Gundam animation looks pretty good. The story is that Sorari and the Red Wolves, they land in Romania to take back this base, and then this one thing, this huge machine called a Gundam, it shows up and starts obliterating them because it's like near invincible. So the Red Wolves, they use Zaku's, and this one Gundam is from the enemies, the EFFs. From what I watched, I'm assuming the EFFs are like tyrants because the characters kept saying that they are fighting for their independence. There's this one scene in episode 2 where Irari nearly gets shot and like a bullet passes her. Some really cool scenes, I won't deny. And then the use of music, heroic music, tension music. Even the intro is pretty good in my opinion, as a person who has never watched anything to do with Gundams. The show is basically Red Wolf Squadron of Xeon versus EFF. That's basically the story. My issues with this show would just be one, I wish they would have done like a summary of the war before the show started so that you have like proper context, because it's like you're just thrown in. So people like me who don't know the context, we have to like figure out everything slowly. And number two, you don't learn much about the characters. You only learn about the characters through exposition and dialogue. So even though the characters were fine, you don't like get super attached to them. But other than that, I enjoyed the show. Out of 10, I would give it a 7.5. I'm not comparing it to anything. I don't know any of the law, so I can't be like, oh, it was woke, F the show. I don't know anything. I'm a newbie. So to me, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. It was quite entertaining. I liked the story, and the action was pretty good, despite its flaws, despite the show's flaws. If you're familiar with the Gundam universe, maybe you can comment below, tell me what you thought of the show if you've watched this. Make sure to smash like and subscribe. I'm doing daily reviews, so smash like, subscribe. I'll leave more reviews for Netflix stuff on screen, and then I'll see you in the next one.